Hey everybody, welcome back to Wicked Awesome Gardening. It was a very busy summer season. Not a lot got done because it was just so crazy hot. Well, now fall is starting to come in. It is the beginning of September, so it's time to kind of pick up on those projects that fell to the wayside during all the heat and really get on with getting them done. Like for one thing, the buck pen right here. It is totally only about halfway finished. It makes a nice shelter right now to keep them dry and keep them cool, but it's not going to help them very much this winter. That is not the project today though. That's coming up. We'll get to that. Today I'm worried about expanding their fence because I actually didn't have a gate on it. I just had the fence up. I make all of my fences out of pallets. We're going to talk about why, we're going to talk about how, and we're going to talk about how I'm going to put a gate on this also while we're expanding their fence out quite a bit. So this is the dough barn, and you can see the pallet fence that I made here. This is a 500 square foot pen. It's not big enough for the amount of goats that I have now because we did just bring in 2 new goats. So I have 4 does, a wether, and 2 3-month-old babies in here. And then we have the buck fence, which right now is a jumble of pieces because I've already taken it partially apart. Why did I use the pallets? They are cheap. I don't actually get free pallets because around here people are jonesing for pallets. Everybody wants pallets, and so the broken ones you can get for free. The ones that are intact and easy to use, they are about $4 to $5 each, and that's still way less expensive than like the 2x4 no climb fence that I'd really like to use for their fencing. This is the best thing that you can use to fence in Nigerian dwarf goats. It is 2x4, 4 foot high, preferably 5 foot high really, but this is 4 foot high no climb fencing. It is woven wire, not welded wire. Welded wire, actually, once the goats stand on it, it'll just start snapping and breaking, and it just won't be a secure fence. The woven wire is what you want to use if you're fencing in goats with fencing wire. But for me, I really like these pallets. Something about when you become a homesteader, you get a favorite pallet. And in my area, there are these pallets that are stamped pallets Perron or Perron on the side, and those I really like because they are extremely uniform. They're nice to look at somehow, and they're just very, very easy to work with. So that's what I go hunting for. And so every 3 pallets is 10 feet of fence. So that's not bad. I mean, when you really figure it out over, sometimes you do find a few for free, sometimes you have to pay for them, but it's still per square foot, it's not a bad price. Now, when people talk about getting goats, one of the main things that they really have to think about is their fencing. And so people have asked me, you just keep your goats in with pallets? Like, don't they get out? Nope, they do not. The one exception is when the babies are really little and they can squeeze out. So when I have young babies, I actually run a smaller set of wire around the outside, and that keeps them contained. The other exception is if you have them turned the wrong way, the pallets where they dip in on the inside, if you don't face your pallets the right way, they will squeeze themselves through there when they're small goats. Once they're 7 or 8 months old, there's no way they're squeezing through there. But as long as you make sure that the pallets are all facing the correct way, you don't have to worry about that. Have my goats ever jumped my 4-foot fences? Because that's what the pallets are. They are 40 inches by 48 inches, so I stand them the long way. Have my goats ever climbed them, jumped them? No, they have not. Granted, disclaimer here, I've only had goats for a little over a year. But I've had bucks here. I have bucks in rut in this 4-foot set of fences. They are all about getting to those ladies right now. They are ready to go. Not even an inkling of trying to climb the fence or jump it or anything like that. The thing about goats is if they are bored, they are going to do whatever they can to try to get out. So giving them snacks that they can munch on. So if you've got hay in there, so they've got food, they've got good water, if you've got things for them to lay on, jump on, they're pretty much going to be fine. It's when they're bored that you're gonna have a problem. A bored goat is a troublemaker goat. So whatever you can do to keep them entertained. So you can see in the grass here where the fence line was. So I've just taken down these pieces here and dragged them out a bit. And so I'm gonna put a gate in here. We're gonna put a couple extra pallets, and we're pushing their fence back and almost doubling their space today. So the bucks are really gonna enjoy that. It's gonna give them this extra patch over here to forage down. It was really neat because it all looked like this before. Then once I put them in here, they mowed it down almost to dirt. And then finally grass was actually able to grow. And so that looks really nice. It's gonna look better, honestly. But now they're gonna get to do the same over here. So what do we need to add a gate to my pallet fence? Well, you can't just put hinges on here and open it because this is wobbly because it doesn't have anything supporting this side. So we're going to use 3 pallets to make the gate and the supports. We have a gate latch and some extra heavy duty T-hinges. So first you have to figure out which way you want your gate to open. For me, I like to have my gates open into the pen because that way you're not opening the gate and having the goats rush to the door. If you're opening in, it pushes them back. So I also don't like to go from this side. It's just my stronger arm is this way and I can maneuver better. So I like to have it hinged on the right and closing on the left. I recommend before starting the project to evaluate your pallets. If you have one that's lighter, use that for the gate. If you have one that's heavier than the others, you want to use that as your anchor pallet where you're hinging the gate to. So you're going to hang your gate on the heaviest pallet. You want the lightest pallet for the gate, and then the other one will be here for the latch. Now here's what I was talking about with those cutouts in the pallets. If you have 2 of these cutouts put together like that, you may not think that a goat can get out of that, but they will squeeze. So you want to make sure that you are lining up your pallet with the gap facing toward your fence and center that center support bar right up against the other pallet. Hooray for funny camera angles. I just attach my pallets with a couple of 2.5-inch drywall screws, honestly. So I know that's kind of janky, but you know, whatever. So you just want to line up the center here. I've already got one started, and so I'm just going to go ahead and zip it in. I really need an impact driver, not a regular screwdriver. So if this bothers you, sorry. So I just do one here at the top, one at the very bottom. Pardon me. For some extra security, you can put one in the center too, and I think I'm going to do that because this is a buck pen, not the doe pen, and they tend to be a little rougher on things. There we go. Well, now I've got the corner dragged to about where I want it to be, so I've got to put up a couple more pallets for extending the fence wall out so that we can put the gate on that side. So again, you want the side with the most boards to be the outside, the side with the cutouts to be inside. Like I said, 2.5-inch drywall screws, just connect them zoop, zoop, right through, and that holds the fence together. Nothing to it. For the moment, the gates are leaning just a little, again, because there's no support on this end. So now we're going to take the heavier pallet, we're going to use that to anchor this straight up, and then we're going to hang the gate. Once you have both walls done, and then you've got your supports up for the gate, you want to make sure that you've got them the right width together. So this should just fit in there with a little bit of play so that this can open, close, and latch. So we're going to attach the hinges inside and we're going to put a gate latch here on the outside. The most important thing about putting on the hinges is to make sure that you're putting it on the right way. So I want this side to be on the support pallet, and I want it to be able to turn in and close all the way. So that's the gate opening all the way in. So we're going to put them on like that. To make the hanging of the gate easier and to make the swinging easier, I've actually laid a couple of T-posts on the ground with the kind of upside down, so the long part is sticking up. So that's going to support the gate a little bit and keep it off the ground so that I can screw it in and then it'll swing in easy. Now for the moment of truth, we make sure that the gate actually does swing in like it's supposed to. And ta-da! We have a gate. It functions. It opens, it closes. Now we just have to put the latch on. Ta-da! I am pumped that I've finally gotten this done. It took quite a while to get around to it, but yay, now the bucks can go in and out instead of me having to climb up and over. Pretty sure they've enjoyed their afternoon out foraging. It's the first time they've gotten out in a few weeks. So now they can just come right in and be all settled into their new pen, except for one thing. Because I extended this fence line down to there, now I've got a big old gap I gotta fill. Luckily, I've got more pallets in the car. So I've gotta come and connect up these pallets because they're not really connected right now and they're kind of laying around all floppy. I'm gonna put one pallet here for support to help hold this up, because once you put more than 3 or 4 pallets up in a wall and you don't have a corner on each side to help give them support, they tend to sag a little. They've held the bucks just fine. So not really a major issue, but it's just, let's better be safe than sorry. We'll give it a little support on this side, but got to close up that hole on the other end. Goats, what can I say? They always have to inspect the handiwork. Anyway, this, hey. You're terrible architects, you know that? Terrible. This is where I'm gonna put my first brace, because now we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pallets in a row. So right where the 3rd and 4th pallet come together, I'm gonna pop this in so it won't sag over this way, and it won't lean that way either because of the weight on this side. Solid. I had to let part of the corner fall down so that I could secure that correctly, but now it's time to brace this back wall, put up that last bit of fence, and then we're done, and hopefully before it starts to pour. Okay, I'm not sure where that stopped recording. I think it was when the phone fell over, but we'll see. So we've taken the buck pen now from, I think it was about 260 square feet, and added an additional 200 square feet of space for them. So that's a nice pen for just $2. We're hoping to add Cedric in here, but he smells so much like the girls right now. They're a little too crazy. So they seem to think that he's a doe. So he's gonna stay with the girls for a while longer, and we'll see what happens as breeding season progresses. But we've just about doubled the size of their pen. We added the gate, and now that they're done foraging, apparently they just want to hang out inside. They came in and are just chilling inside their little shelter there. So next step is the buck pen, finishing that up. Then we're on to a chicken coop build so that I can get started on the real project that I'm excited about, and that is taking down the chicken coop there and extending the goat barn into it so that we're doubling the space of the goat barn. Woohoo! But thank you guys for coming along. Checked out my pallet fences. We got a gate up, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.